Hello YouTube, this is Ezekiel doing another battle report for Combat Mission Battle for Normandy. I am back after a bit of a short break. For those who didn't get the message through YouTube, my old computer completely died on me after 5 years of dutiful service, and I recently picked up a new rig. I will probably leave the specs in the comments below. It's a pretty juicy rig compared to the old one. It should make this movie editing a little bit easier. I know there's been no games or no videos uploaded recently. I've been a little bit distracted with the brand new GTX 690 graphics card, meaning a lot of the games I already own could be played a hell of a lot better. So been off there playing a bit of Shogun 2, Far Cry 3. So please forgive me, but I will start bringing some Combat Mission after action reports to the channel once again. I was tossing up whether to actually do another Battle for Normandy match or do a scenario from Fortress Italy. And then Battlefront recently announced the Gustav line expansion for Fortress Italy, which will include all the Commonwealth and Fallschirmjäger German units, so continuing the war in Italy right up to June 1944, so it's a really big expansion pack. Really looking forward to it. Finally get to play some battles in Casino and Salerno, Anzio beachheads, so it's really looking forward to that personally. So I thought, no, I'll do another battle, do it a bit differently now. I'm really sick of playing with the Commonwealth forces, so I flipped over to play the, I think it's a scenario from the base game, so I'm just playing the German army against the US army. You have to go back, unfortunately, and click on the briefing, but in short, I've got a static defense against the advancing American Third Army under General Patton. So my forces and them quick retreat from Normandy across the fields of France. Now got a defensive line set up outside of Orleans. I'm not too good at my French. Anyway, so we've been quickly resupplied with 4 Pack 36 88mm flak guns. These are the famous anti-tank guns that show up in every single documentary about World War II weaponry. So looking forward to using those. Also thought a nice change of pace to actually play a bit of a defensive role rather than our last battle, the 10-part series Operation Blue Coat was really an offensive role. So fingers crossed the AI puts up a bit of a challenge. And so I'm just reorganising my forces now in this deployment. With the scenarios, I always like trying to play them how the scenario designer actually deployed the forces, because that's really what they're thinking is how it should be. So I won't do too many changes, but little things that I personally am not a big fan of, like splitting up squads, unless it's really, really desperate. I generally don't do that. I'm sure some other combat mission generals will argue against me, saying, Ezekiel, you're doing it completely wrong. Fair enough. But anyway, I like having full squads, just for the firepower purposes. Anyway, so just deploying, looking for best positions for my infantry. We'll try and leave the guns where they are. I'm guessing, especially though these guns coming into view now, the 88s here, they're really in full view of the enemy. But I think make it a bit fairer, I'll leave them where they are. That's obviously where the scenario designers placed them for a reason. So I've got good defensive positions, good trench system. Plenty of cover room with buildings, and also the trenches on the left there, and a big open fields. So as the briefing said, and also what Patton was famous for is, you know, leading with the tanks. So I'm expecting plenty of American armour, and hopefully those anti-tank guns can take care of most of them before they reach my lines. I have an occupy objective. That's for the American forces, I believe. I don't need to necessarily occupy it. I just need to inflict casualties on the enemy. So I might have to go back and double check that when I play the next part. So I'll keep that in mind. Good place for ambushes, but won't desperately try and cling on to it. So anyway, while I finished deploying, yeah, been a bit distracted outside of buying a new computer and everything. Bought a block of land, so building a house later this year on it. So there will be a few more distractions going forward, unfortunately. But hopefully the battle rate or the upload rate can now increase again. Also may actually start uploading, I won't dominate with it, but I may upload a couple of Total War videos of interesting battles I have. They are very, very pretty. Especially now playing Shogun 2 again on absolutely max settings, which I really couldn't do on the old rig. I only got really about 75%, but that last little bit really does add to it. So I'll eventually get some of those up later on. So fingers crossed doesn't distract me too much, and I can keep playing Combat Mission. But also that also brings me to another point. I mean, with Fortress Italy coming out, sorry, Gustaf line for Fortress Italy coming out soon. Be good to play that again. So if anyone's got any ideas for which scenario to play following the completion of this one, please feel free to you know, leave a comment and say which scenario you think you'd like me to play through. Try to avoid the campaign ones, please. Generally don't have enough time to play a full campaign, unfortunately. Not at the moment, with work picking up post Christmas. But I will definitely venture to do some Fortress Italy next. So from memory, I'm nearing the end of setting up here, just moving some forces around. One thing that I've noticed playing missions like this, which are completely static defense, I mean, obviously deployment is 99% of the match. Well, I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but you really have to get deployment just right, or at least have a plan for retreating and you know, and still being able to offer a defense, a multi-layered defense. So yeah, it is a very different beast to attacking. You usually find as well that you don't have a lot of off-map assets such as artillery and aircraft, especially playing as the Germans at this time period. It's another good reason why going back to Fortress Italy would be good if I play the Germans, actually get some aircraft. But there we go. So like just what I'm talking about, the layer defense here. Those last few trenches, I'm just putting them in this open field facing the occupy objective, which the Americans, we know that's what the Americans are going to go for. So if my forces from the looks like the railway line, the train station, the warehouses there, so if they have something to fall back to without going all the way back to that tree line on my baseline. But fingers crossed, I don't need it. And we're off. Fair word of warning, it's going to be a bit of a slow start, as it generally always is. So take this opportunity to look at some units up close. Also a good time to talk about the recent announcements. I think looking the next 6 months with Combat Mission, with firstly the Gustaf line, expansion pack Fortress Italy, that's going to be really big. just looking at some forums, some people have been holding off buying Fortress Italy until the Gust of Flying expansion came out, so you could have the British and expanded German forces at your disposal for that whole theatre. Some people thought the base game in just the Sicily was a little bit too small. So yeah, but also some of the I think some of the most interesting and forgotten about battles in the Mediterranean and Western theatres were actually fought in Italy in 43 and early 44. Like the Monte Cassino battle, I remember that was just absolutely brutal for both sides, but really showed it was really a time when the forces were probably evenly matched, even though the Allies started to have superior numbers, but the Germans could still throw in quite a lot of forces in defence too. Unlike later 44 or into 45, it was really whatever the Germans could scrape together. So you're really looking forward to Monte Cassino battles, and also of course the bridgehead battles. And can't forget the I think there's going to possibly be a few scenarios set for the British in Sicily. They had a really tough time in Sicily on the eastern side of the island, which also caused some of the rivalry to develop between Montgomery and Patton. But anyway, but also, as I think every second combat mission player has been raving on about, it's finally we see the arrival of Fallschirmjäger, German airborne. German airborne forces will be brilliant. I remember playing with them in the old combat mission games, the Series 1 games, and they were absolutely lethal with their array of automatic weapons. So really looking forward to using those troops. But straight after Fortress, not straight after, I don't really know, I'm only guessing here, but by all sounds of it, the next one out is Operation Market Garden, the expansion for Battle for Normandy, which will push this game out to, I think it's September, October, or may go into November, or I think it's the rest of 44 and the Western Front. Once again, that adds Fallschirmjäger and updated order of battles to that Northwest Europe theatre, so it's really looking forward to that. Market Garden's another particular battle I have a personal interest in. I just find that battle really interesting. The personalities involved and how the Germans just scraped everything together to form a defence, and been pushed. Let's face it, pretty much annihilated the first British airborne, which were placed in a horrible position to begin with. I think it's a great lesson in being overconfident in any military situation. So yeah, those two modules I'm seriously looking forward to. After that, I think it's probably getting to 2008, 2013, early 2014 territory here, but going over to Eastern Front, and which I think a lot of people are also looking forward to, and also then Modern Combat Shock Force 2. So plenty of good things ahead. So just to what I was doing there, I just realised when I deployed I just made a little bit of a mistake. Had those guns, everything's hidden, but didn't have the target arcs on those guns, so those guns may suddenly open up on anything they see. So I just want to make sure that they don't fire and reveal their position until I want them to, or if they see a juicy target like a Sherman. These big 88s, they were lethal and well popular for a reason. They had enormous range and could take out pretty much any Allied armour at distance. So still nothing yet. Shouldn't be too long though. There's just that one contact to the right of my screen at the moment, infantry contact. So So I can also use my flak guns for indirect fire support. However, in this particular scenario, I know I'm going up against tanks. I know I've got an open field in front of me, and I've got good lines of sights across that field. So I really don't want to waste precious ammunition on indirect fire missions if I can help it. I've got some mortars back here I can use. Scroll over. Yep, those little mortars there. So, you know, I want to use those if possible for indirect fire, and I'll use the save the flak guns for direct fire, direct anti-tank support. Okay, so here we go. Oh, that's unlucky. So immediately lost the gunner from the seat of the flak 36. Sounds like a full infantry squad's opening up on the two flak guns. Yeah. A good thing where they are on a little raised piece of dirt and also behind the trench line, so there should be some minimal amount of cover still for them, but they do. The one problem with their design is they do actually stick out like a sore thumb, so it's no surprising they actually did get spotted, but obviously the troops with the MG42s didn't, so I'm about to return fire, hopefully save any more long range casualties from that rifle squad. This will also be a good chance to see. This will also be a good chance to see what changes they made in the 2.01 update, which actually changed some rules for the MGs around. So it's my first actual game playing in the new version, the updated version. So immediately the American infantry seems to be suppressed a lot better. Seems to be doing its job. So immediately the American infantry go to ground. Looks like they're using that elevated train line as their main line of, or their firing line. So I expect a full base of a full fire base to like set up there, probably a platoon in strength, and they'll just sit there with their rifles, trying to pick my anti-tank gunners off probably. So that forward 86 there. You can see the armoured car, but because of the target arc got on, it's not going to fire. That's fine with me. Not really concerned yet about that armoured car, not that distance. Didn't really let you go check actually. I think it could be probably a Greyhound or something, so probably just an MG or a 20mm cannon on it. Okay, now we've got mortars. That's probably American 60mm mortars. On map support from behind that tree line somewhere. So that corner looks like to be where the American main deployment zone is. Oh, might as well take a pot shot. So yeah, that's probably going to get a bit of a mortar barrage at the moment. This is also where I made a little bit of a mistake, which I'll talk about after. So just changing it around so those MGs are allowed to open up on anything that falls into that arc, rather than just always trying to pinpoint that one squad or one target. And those guys over there are still all hidden, so they're all staying put, out of sight. Okay, so the 88 looks like the round fell short. It's alright, it's advancing towards the main road and my Panzerschreck team at the top there. Just sitting outside that range, or that target arc. I ordered a small target arc for the simple fact I really wanted to hit first time. So nice and short, close range. Don't want any wild 200 metre plus shots from that Panzerschreck team, especially when it's all out on its own. Okay. So I know there's a yeah, thinking about it, no. So I know there's a vehicle there. I can still see the vehicle, but I probably just can't get the gun to actually target that particular spot for some reason. Could be elevation, because I don't know what it is. But let's make sure they're hidden, they're not going to open up. Really don't want that line to be revealed just yet. So just if that vehicle decides to move again and my forward flak gun here can actually take a shot, but wait and see. Here comes the mortars. Okay. It's moving, but it moves out of sight. Yep, and still out of that target arc. Just. Oh, ouch. Ah, damn it. Okay, so the 20mm gun got a lucky shot off on the flak gun. And the mortars take out an MG42 by the looks of it. Oh, that last one really hurt. So, okay, lost the leader, which had the binoculars. And also lost an MG42 team. They've still got the flak gun in operation, just with reduced crew. And it looks like the rear element there is still fine. The mistake I was talking about earlier was quite simply I still had the troops up in a non-hidden position. Basically, so they're still got their heads above the trench line. If I actually kept them in, or return them to a hidden state, yes, their spotting would be drastically reduced, but they'd have a much better chance of actually surviving because they're fully covered by the trench. So that's my understanding of it. And I've just a little bit of a spoiler for upcoming. It's actually tested in the same position, so you'll be able to see what the difference is. Okay, so the Panzerschreck up the top there, they got a penetrating hit, and my 88 gun decides to take a shot and finishes it off. So that scouting greyhound or light vehicle is now done for, and it's burning. That's always good. Okay, that's not a good sound. Okay, and that looks like the rifle squad's been replaced with a 30 caliber. Yep, so that new pinning, those new new suppression rules for the heavy machine guns seem to be working. My forces are really already suppressed, even just from that one MG. So, I'm going to use some of my on-map assets. Actually, don't have any off-map assets in this, but anyway, just one of the on-map 81mm mortars. Just a quick burst. Hopefully, it'll be on target. That should definitely take care of that heavy machine gun. Pretty good blast, actually, on the 81mm. Sorry, yeah, 81mm mortar. It's I do generally like using them. They're actually pretty good. So just trying to get that last guy to... He's rattled, so he's probably not going to do much, but... yeah. Just trying to get him to do some buddy aid, especially that one. Try and get the other... His dead commander's binoculars would be nice. Just quickly, another little thing I forgot is the forward observer. Little short target arc, so he won't fire anything he sees and reveals his position. Okay. So what we're seeing here is those all those guys are still keeping their heads right down in a hidden mode inside the trench, so they're really well protected. So that American MG has been really lucky to get a hit on me at the moment. Indirect fire is another question, but if one of those mortar rounds lands right inside the trench, I'm in trouble. But generally, all else I should be fine. They're only very light mortars, 60 mils, so it's when the big artillery comes out to play. That's when it gets a bit nasty. I think you can say that about any scenario, actually. Okay. Yeah, here we go, more mortars. That's what I was talking about before. This is the real test. So the troops are all now hidden. I was a bit lucky, that one. So they were screaming yell a lot, as you'd expect, but as you can see, no casualties. So big tip when you're on the defensive, especially in static defense like this. Yeah, keep your troops hidden if they're not going to be directly engaged at the moment. It just forces them to keep their heads down and not to actually spot as much and keep, be exposed. Keep in mind, of course, that that does reduce spotting a lot. So always trying to keep some forces, like I've got the forward observer doing that job. Make sure there's always something keeping an eye on the field or keeping an eye on the approach of the enemy forces. You don't want to be ambushed. You don't want to suddenly see this American platoon or your opponent's platoon right in front of you by the time you actually do spot them and get going and retaliating. You're always trying. You want some distance. So, unfortunately, even when you're hiding, you can't really suddenly hide that 88mm gun. It does stick out. So, there's a tank. So, just making sure. I think I heard one of my anti-tank guns back there go off. But so they always are going to get shot at because the enemy can obviously see them on the horizon. but the troops behind them will keep their heads down, especially on that 88mm, the big shield at the front. Comes in handy. As you can see, the bullet ricochets off. That's another little thing. I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but that's another thing this game, unfortunately, in my experience, does actually replicate, is those ricochets. Those bullets don't actually stop being processed till they impact with the ground, and you can die from a bullet ricochet. So always keep that in mind. But you've got to be really unlucky. Saying that, I think I was unlucky in Operation Bluecoat from memory, but that was from a incoming tank round. From memory, it bounced off a Churchill and landed onto a friendly squad next door to it. So, yeah, pretty sure that happened. Okay. This is now a long battle. I'll wrap it up at 45 minutes for this part. So that means I'll try and do 15 minute intervals. So that means this video series should be about 4 videos long, maybe 5 if something takes a long time to process. So that's what we're aiming for with this one. So once again, as I said before, if there's any ideas for the next scenario after this, please leave them in the comments below. Especially, yeah, definitely look at the Fortress Italy ones. I must admit, I don't actually play with the Italians a lot, so that could be an interesting case. Take on the infamous Italian forces. So please do leave that advice below. My 81mm mortars don't seem to be on target today. Spotting rounds going all over the place. Meanwhile, Americans are wasting a lot of bullets. Fingers crossed that keeps up. Okay, so looks like they reckon they've got a good spot on that target. Let's see what happens. Yep, there's the mortars firing their little mission. So it should be about 3 or 4 shots. Should hopefully land somewhere around the target. Fingers crossed. No, it looks like they're landing well behind. Ah, well. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I'll be back with part 2 soon enough. In the meantime, like and subscribe, and see you soon. Thanks, guys.